hope you all are doing well. It's good that I'm interacting with you all for the second time, and we are going to continue with the same chapter, the Sultans of Delhi. So children, we had talked in our previous video about the dynasties that ruled Delhi, its sources, the slave dynasty, the rulers of the slave dynasty who was Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Sultan and Ghiyasuddin Balban. We also talked about the second dynasty, the Khalji dynasty, and the rulers were Jalaluddin Firoz Khalji and Alauddin Khalji. Now today in this video, which would be the second part of the Sultans of Delhi, we will talk about the Tughlaq dynasty, whose rulers were Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and invasion of Taimur, the Sayyid dynasty, the Lodi dynasty, and the rulers of the Lodi dynasty, Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi, and the causes of decline of the Sultanate. So let us start with the chapter now. First, we will talk about the Tughlaq dynasty and its rulers. Now let us start with this third dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, which started from 1320 and ended in 1414. So there were three rulers in this dynasty who were Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So there was a war of succession. This word succession means a process to inherit a throne. So there was a war which broke out after the death of Alauddin Khalji, and the power finally means ultimately went to Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, after defeating, this word defeating means winning, he killed Khusro and he won his title of the Sultan. After he became Sultan, he tried to win over the nobles. So this word nobles, they are the people or the person who belongs to a high rank in the society. He tried to make the nobles happy by winning them. So winning means not generally, not in a war. It means to keep them happy. Okay, he did some great things for the nobles. So now these nobles actually they had helped Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq to come into power or take the throne of Sultan. So he restored, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he restored means he brought back the lands to nobles which were taken away by Alauddin Khalji. So if you remember the administrative policies of Alauddin Khalji, there I had mentioned that the nobles' lands, they were seized by Alauddin Khalji, which the nobles had received it as grants or gifts. So these lands had been taken away by Alauddin Khalji forcefully. So this had been brought back now by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and he won the nobles. So now Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he was a great person who was encouraging, or he had encouraged agriculture. So this word encouraged means he had keen interest in spending financially to support agriculture. And he also improved the system of irrigation. So this irrigation means the supply, the means of supply of water on the land for the growth of crops. So this facility was given by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. And he was an able administrator. Able means a person who is capable of administrating this in the system. So administrator, if you remember the previous video, I have spoken about this word administrator. A person who is in charge of all the rules and regulation to enforce in the system and to make the rules and regulation. So he was a able administrator. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he also built the fort of Tughlaqabad. If you look at this picture, I will show you the Tughlaqabad fort. This fort generally protects the kingdom through any kind of attack that happens from outside or within the kingdom. So this fort is a huge building built generally to protect the kingdom. So this Tughlakabad fort was built by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and he died accidentally in 1325 century. So accidentally means mistakenly he died in 1325 century, and after his death his son Muhammad bin Tughlaq became the ruler. So now let's talk about Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now let us start with Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the son of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he was a great poet. Poet means a person who writes a poem. Scholar means a person who is highly educated. And a devout Muslim. The meaning of devout is a person who has a strong religious feeling. And he was a brave general, a person who is a commander in the army or in the high rank. Now he did not allow the ulema to dominate him. This word ulema means a person who belongs to a Muslim society and he is a scholar of the Muslim religion. So these scholars of the Muslims could not dominate. Dominate means over control the power of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and he followed the policy of annexation. So this word annexation means to seize or own a land or territory by force or without permission. Okay, he was extremely means excessively. Ambitious means a person who wants to achieve his goal and he wants to become a successful, powerful or rich person. That's why he spelled out various policies. Spelled means he made various policies, but the execution of policies, but the plan which was made of these policies were very weak. Therefore, he ended up cancelling all his own policies. Okay, the policies were very weak. That's why he had to cancel all his policies. Because of these policies, now Muhammad bin Tughlaq, this made him a laughing stock. Laughing stock means he became a person who was stupid or silly and a subject of discussion. Subject means he was a person whom the people used to discuss about. And ridicule means who used to make fun of. Now people used to talk about Muhammad bin Tughlaq and he had become a matter of subject and he was made fun of his policies. So even today, if any person of any authoritative, okay, so authority means a person who has a power and he gives out an order in the nation or in the system then which is incorrect and unplanned. Even today, I am talking about the current situation. Even today, if someone in the authority, in the high position has a power who gives an order which is incorrect or unplanned, then it is still called as Tughlaqi Farman. So this Tughlaqi Farman were the policies which was applied by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and this all failed. So that's why Muhammad bin Tughlaq had to withdraw all his policies. Now let's look at some of the policies that he were reversed. So this reversed means he turned the other way round. Okay. Now we will discuss about his first policy, which is taxation in Doab. So now this word taxation against means the collection of revenue. Now let us look at taxation in Doab. This is the first policy which was introduced by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he required money to expand his kingdom. Expand means to increase his kingdom, and he increased the tax on the Doab area. So before I take you through this paragraph, I would like to tell you the meaning of taxation. So this word taxation means the practice of a government to collect money from its citizens to pay for public services. And you already know the meaning of Doab. I have already mentioned that in the previous video as well. And this means the area of land between the two rivers. Now Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he had required money to expand, which is to increase his kingdom, and he increased the tax on the Doab area, which was very fertile. Fertile means the soil was capable of growing crops in a land. It was the area located between Ganga and Yamuna rivers. So it was a Doab area. Now the tax was increased at a time when the monsoon failed. But unfortunately, the tax was increased at the time when the monsoons failed and the agriculture failed miserably. So this word miserably means that the capable of producing the crops was not so good and it was unhappy. So I am not saying that the land was unhappy, but here this sentence is meaning the weather of monsoon was there and the agriculture of the crops failed to harvest, which led to a famine. So famine means, this word famine means shortage of food. Now the revenue collectors insisted. Now these revenue collectors, they now forced, okay, or they demanded for higher amount of taxation. Because of this, the scheme failed and there was a revolt between the revenue collectors and the farmers. So they revolted. Meaning here revolted, this means that agitation was between the farmers and the revenue collectors. So once the Sultan, he came to know about the matter, he withdrew. So he took away his orders, and as the timing of increased taxation was inappropriate, means this was an unsuitable time, and that's why the ruler became unpopular. So the ruler became unpopular means he was disliked by the people of that kingdom. Now let's go to the second policy. Before I go to the second policy, I would like to reiterate this paragraph again. Now to increase, the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he wanted to increase his kingdom. That's why he increased the amount of tax in the Doab area. But this was not a suitable time because the monsoon season was going on and the agriculture failed very badly. So whatever crops he expected to grow there, that could not be grown, and whatever was producing, it was lower than that also, and it caused a famine. So this word famine means scarcity of food. Again I am telling you. So now still the revenue collectors were demanding higher amount of tax from the farmers, and the farmers started agitating. So this message was given to Sultan, and Sultan, he withdrew he took all the policies back, as he became unpopular, means he became disliked by the people as a good ruler. Alright. Now let us go to the second policy, which is use of token currency. Now let us talk about his second policy, the use of token currency. So this token means, you can say, a kind of a voucher which is exchanged for goods or services, and currency means money. So Tughlaq, he issued copper coins and kept the value at par. Par means the same or equal to something with the gold and silver ones. So now he issued a copper coins which was equal to the value of the gold and the silver coins. Now this copper coins had come later. So before this, there was a circulation. Circulation meaning the flow of the gold and the silver coins were there previously. But later on, Muhammad bin Tughlaq introduced the copper coins. Now this scheme means the plan failed. The scheme meaning plan. It failed and the Sultan did not keep a control over the issue of these new coins. So Sultans, they were not keeping the control over the issue of these new coins. That's why now people of the state, what they started was, they started minting. Minting meaning they made fake coins. This fake means the counterfeit coins of higher value, or the false coins you can say. So they made this kind of coins which led to large scale circulation or the flow of fake coins or the counterfeit. This meaning counterfeit, fake coins. Okay. Now the people kept the original silver coins with them. Tughlaq realized his mistake about failure of his scheme or plan and withdrew or removed entire currency or money. He then exchanged the entire copper coins by silver coins, which led him to suffer huge losses. Now I am going to repeat this as I have explained you the meaning of the paragraph. Now Tughlaq, he issued copper coins, and these copper coins were used later. Previously the gold and the silver coins were being used as a voucher to buy the goods. Now after issuing the copper coins, the Sultan, they did not keep a check on the flow of the coin. So people started making fake coins, and they used to keep the original ones and they used to use the fake coins. Now it became a circulation in a large bulky manner. So Tughlaq realized a mistake about his failure of this scheme or a plan, and then he withdrew the entire plan and he had to exchange the entire money, and then he exchanged the entire copper coins by silver coins, which led him to suffer of huge losses. So these are the two policies that was introduced by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, which did not help him to run well in the system. Now let's talk about the transfer of capital. Now we start with the transfer of capital. So this word transfer means to move from one place to another, and capital means a city that is the center of government of a country or a city or a town. Now Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he shifted his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad because Delhi was repeatedly under the threat, means the fear of getting attacked by Mongols. So in danger you can say, threat means danger. So in danger of the Mongol attack. Devagiri, it was an area in the Deccan. So this Deccan is an area, a vast peninsula in the India south of the river Narmada. So this was renamed as Daulatabad. This Devagiri was renamed as Daulatabad, and he told the entire population. Population means all the people to move from Delhi to Daulatabad. So people faced a lot of hardship. Hardship means difficulties or faced a lot of problems because of this move from Delhi to Daulatabad, because it was a far off place in those days and no transportation facilities, meaning no buses, no cab facility, nothing was there to transport the people or any kind of things from Delhi to Daulatabad. Now he also moved from Delhi to Daulatabad. Later he realized that the control of the northwest frontier. So again he realized after shifting from Delhi to Daulatabad that the control of this northwest frontier. So you remember, this is the province from the part of British India, and now it is a part of Pakistan, and it was established in 1901. So it was impossible from Daulatabad to control the northwest frontiers. So again he reversed his order, means he turned his order upside down, and he again asked the capital to be moved to Delhi and the entire population of Daulatabad to move to Delhi. Now Muhammad bin Tughlaq faced rebellions, means he faced lot of revolts or enemies in any kind of places and in different parts of his empire during the last few years of his reign. So this word reign means to rule. At the time of rule he faced lot of difficulties, and this was due to the revolts. This was at the end of his rule. He died in 1351 century, and this was due to illness. So now after we go through this, now I am going to talk about a small piece of information about the chronicler. So this word chronicler again means the historical event which was talked about by Ziauddin Barani. So children, now let us talk about this. I would like to provide you all a piece of information about the chronicler. So the meaning, the historical event which Al-Barani or Ziauddin Barani has written about the shifting of the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. So this was a complete ruin. Ruin means a destroy. So here it is written that it was a complete ruin. So this word ruin means the destroy. Now not even a cat or a dog was left in that city when Muhammad bin Tughlaq asked to move the people from Delhi to Daulatabad. Now Ibn Battuta, the traveler from Morocco, if you remember, writes about this shifting of capital in the night. So he also writes about this same shifting of the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, and in the night the Sultan, he climbed up the roof of the palace. So mounted means he climbed up the roof of the palace and looked around Delhi. When neither a light or smoke came into sight, he remarked means he commented by saying something, "Now my heart is pleased and my soul is at rest." So now these are the words which were spoken by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and it is written by Ibn Battuta. So children, now let's come to the other ruler who was Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Let us look at Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He was the successor of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and he did a lot of things before his people. He tried to improve agriculture and worked for the welfare of the peasants. So this word welfare means improvement of the peasants, means farmers. So loans, meaning credits, were waived off in case of droughts. So droughts meaning it is a continuous period of dry weather when an area gets less than its normal amount of rain. So during those times the farmer did not have to pay their loans. He waived off many. He constructed a number of canals and many wells to provide good irrigational facilities. So he constructed a number of canals. Canal means a man-made way to provide water facilities for the land to produce crops. Now he also built some important towns like Hisar, Jaunpur and Firozabad. He imposed Jizya, a tax on non-Muslims. So he imposed means he applied Jizya. So Jizya is a tax which has to be paid by the non-Muslims. Now he also provided financial help to deserving people. Set up for marriage bureaus. So this bureau of marriage is an association or an organization which gives financial support to the parents for the marriage of their daughters. So he set up these marriage bureaus in order to provide the parents to get the marriage done for their daughters. Financially, they used to support them. He was a patron of learning and got numerous Sanskrit books translated into Persian. So he was a keen learner he had a keen interest in learning, and he supported learning and got numerous Sanskrit books. So this translated meaning the Sanskrit language was translated into a Persian language. So these words of Sanskrit books were translated into Persian books. Now he based the judicial system. So this judging system, judicial means the system of judging the people on Islamic laws. So this system of judgment was done on the Islamic laws. He abolished the practice of torture. So abolished means he eradicated the practice of torture. Torture means to cause intense suffering to someone. He built many sariyas or rest houses for travelers. So these sariyas or rest houses are for the people who does traveling. But one important thing about Firoz Shah Tughlaq was he was not an able warrior. He was not a capable. Able means capable. Warrior means a fighter. As there is no significant, as there is no important conquest, meaning he has not used his forces to capture any kind of kingdom and made a won. So this was the meaning of conquest. Now his successors were also not very competent. This means that his successors were incompetent or they did not have the skills to do something successful. After this, now we move on to the invasion of Taimur, which gave a severe blow to the Tughlaq rule in 1398 century. Children, now let us talk about the invasion of Taimur. So this word invasion means to enter to a place for conquest along with the forces. Now Taimur's invasion, it gave a severe means a great, blow means destroy to the Tughlaq's rule in 1398 century. So Taimur was a Turkish chief who ruled over a large empire in Central Asia. He attacked Delhi and ordered a general, so meaning affecting massacre. So in this massacre, usually what happens is many people are being killed, which is the meaning of massacre, which ruined, which destroyed, ruined meaning destroyed the city of Delhi. He took away the wealth of India to Central Asia. So this was the story of Taimur. Now there will be another rule of the Sayyid dynasty. Now let us have a look at that. Let's start with the rule of Sayyid dynasty, which started from 1414 to 1451. I have been using this word dynasty from the beginning of the chapter, which means a sequence of rulers considered as members of the same family. Now let's look at the rulers of the Sayyid dynasty. The first ruler was Khizr Khan. The second ruler was Mubarak Shah. The third ruler was Muhammad Shah, and then Alam Shah. So once Taimur he left India and he returned to his empire, the throne of Delhi was left to the hands of his deputy Khizr Khan. So this deputy meaning he is a person who is appointed to act or exercise and has full authority in the absence of his or her superior. So Khizr Khan was the person. Now Khizr Khan he established or he founded the Sayyid dynasty. This dynasty had four rulers, namely Mubarak Shah, Muhammad Shah and Alam Shah. In addition to Khizr Khan, this dynasty did not leave any significant means important mark on the history of Delhi. So after this, the Lodi dynasty started. Now we will talk about the Lodi dynasty. Let us talk about the last dynasty, which is the Lodi dynasty, and that started from 1451, got ended in 1526 after the Battle of Panipat. Now the rulers of the Lodi dynasty were Bahulal Lodi, Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi. We will talk about Sikandar Lodi, but a little bit about Bahulal Lodi. So Bahulal Lodi, he was an Afghan. So he started or he founded the Lodi dynasty. He was succeeded means won by Sikandar Lodi. So Sikandar Lodi, he re-established, meaning he established something or he founded the Lodi dynasty, refounded generally meaning. And he also re-established his authority. So this authority is the power to give orders. So he established these powers in Jaunpur and Bihar. And along with that, he signed a treaty, means an agreement of non-aggression. Non-aggression means not to attack or try to harm a particular country. And this agreement was made with sultans of Bengal. His area extended, meaning stretched, from Punjab to the borders of Bengal. He was a great scholar. So again, scholar here means a highly educated person, and he wrote poems in Persian. So he wrote he wrote poems in Persian language, and he died in 1517. After his death in 1517, another ruler who was Ibrahim Lodi, he started his dynasty. Thank you. About the last ruler, Ibrahim Lodi, he was the son and the successor of Sikandar Lodi, and he succeeded his father in 1517th century. He became unpopular. Unpopular means he was disliked among the nobles. So what he did was he tried to replace some of the older nobles and punished some prominent, means he punished some famous ones. So there was a revolt, meaning fight, broke out in many parts of the kingdom, and he faced lot of rebellions. He faced lot of revolts. And finally Alam Khan, the Sultan's uncle, the Sultan was Ibrahim Lodi's uncle, and Daulat Khan Lodi, he was the governor of Punjab. So this what governor means, an official who is appointed to govern a town or region. So these people, they invited the ruler of Kabul, who was Babur, to invade India, and the first battle of Panipat took place in 1526 century, and Ibrahim Lodi was killed, and the Delhi Sultanate, it came to an end. And the era means a long history of some another rule, which now became a Mughal rule. Commenced means it started. Now let's look at the causes of decline. Now let's look at the causes of the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. So the Delhi Sultanate saw its decline, means to gradually become less, worse or lower in the early. It started in the early 16th century. But the reason for this decline can be various policies, which gradually means slowly, weaken means to make the power less. And to summarize all this on the whole thing, which is broadly here, meaning on the whole thing we can summarize, means we can brief about these policies. So first, the policy says that there was lack of rules of succession. So this lack means not enough of something, and succession means the process of inheriting a title in the dynasties. So dynasties meaning the sequence of the rulers of the same family which were considered to be, and they were bitter. So bitter means they had a feeling of showing anger, and rivalry means competition between each other. And there was also struggle for supremacy. Supremacy means the highest authority to have or to have a great power. They used to fight amongst the sons, and the fight also used to happen between the sultans and the nobles and the subordinates. So subordinate are the juniors who has the lowest rank. Now there was no proper way of taking over the throne. There was angerness and competition between each other, and they struggled for the power and to be the highest authority. It happened among the subordinates, so person who was on a lower rank in the organization, and they also fought with their sons to gain supremacy, and this happened due to jealousy. Now the second thing was power of the nobles. So if we talk about the power of the nobles, if you remember, Iltutmish, he had divided his empire into provinces, and these provinces had been given to the nobles, and they were they became the head of the Iktas. So now the nobles had become powerful by having provinces, and they used to rule. The kings were dependent on them for revenue, means tax or something, and they survived on that. So even for survival, this word survival meaning wanting to continue to exist, also this depended on the hands of the nobles, which the sultans totally used to depend upon these nobles. So now gradually means slowly, these nobles assumed means they began to have the power. So the nobles thought themselves to be the kings, and they fractured. They broke the kingdom. The nobles broke the kingdom into smaller states. The third thing was policies of arrogance. Now this policy of arrogance means a plan of action adopted by a person or organization, and this arrogance means who outbears pride and behaves unpleasantly with others. So there were many rulers who were extremely autocratic. Autocratic means this word. Autocratic means someone with absolute power, and were harsh. Harsh meaning they were cruel towards the people. They considered themselves to be the gods. This was a major cause of discontentment. So this word discontentment means dissatisfaction among the people. Now the fourth thing what happened was inconsistency of policies. Inconsistency means there was no good flow of whatever the policies were made, like fluctuation in the policies. Now it did not stay the same. It changed between many periods, and the policies again changed when there were new rulers, new regulations, new rules, and the plan of action or laws that was applied to achieve some goal was not set up in a proper way. So each ruler brought his own policies of rules and regulation. There was no streamlining. So this word streamlining means there was no systematic way in governance. So there was no systematic way of ruling a state. Government means a ruling of state or controlling a state. Kings, they changed policies at will, means according to will means their own decisions. So king, they used to change their own policies according to their decisions, and whenever they felt that it was suitable, they used to change the policies. Now the fifth thing which happened was the judgment or the judicial system, meaning that happened in the name of state, to resolve dispute was not correct. So the judicial and administrative systems. So this administrative system means the enforcement of the rules and regulation were not smooth and it kept changing. So sixth thing which was happening was, what I will talk about is the imposition means of tax. So the introduction of a new law or a tax rule in a forceful way, which was known as jizya, right, on the non-Muslims. So they were forcefully asked to pay the taxes, and this brought a division in the society. So now we can conclude that the end of the Sultan brought about a change of rulers and dynasties or sequence of rulers considered to be a member from the same family by foreigners. The Mughal Empire set foot on the Indian subcontinent. So this subcontinent is a term mainly used for the geographic region surrounded by the Indian Ocean, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. And you shall study about them in subsequent meaning in the coming chapters. So this word subsequent means the coming chapters. So children, before we end this chapter, let's look at around the world and know about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Before we end this chapter, let's go around the world and find some interesting facts about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It was planned, designed by Bonanno Pisano, and this is a picture of Leaning Tower of Pisa. And this was the miracle of medieval engineering. It is one of the tallest bell towers in Europe. So these bell towers are used to host ceremonies. Whenever there is a festival, then you can say it is used to host those ceremonies or festivals. The construction on this tower began in 1173. It remained under construction for about 200 years. Due to this, it was unbelievable for the historians to agree on the name of the architect of the building. Now, this started, beginning means onset of a series of wars. This started, so the construction of this building started from the beginning of a series of wars. So that's why the historians do not agree with the name of the architect of the building, because it was 200 years when it started. It took that much of time. So the tower was designed as a circular bell tower which stands 185 feet tall. It is constructed of white marble. It has 207 columns and 8 stories, including the chamber for the bells. Now if you look at this Leaning Tower of Pisa, the picture is not straight. It is showing that the building is leaning. So if you look into this, it started leaning after the construction of the 3rd floor. But there is nothing to worry about this building. It does not have a terror of falling down because the base is set up in a very strong manner and it is set up in the center. So this was the fact about Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now we conclude this chapter. Thank you so much, children. I think you will have a better knowledge after looking at this video. Hope you all have understood this chapter. Thank you.